Alrighty, folks, we need to talk about the 2026 spring selling season. But the first thing we need to do is acknowledge just how terrible 2025 spring selling season was. We should also probably talk about how Q4 ended because I think it surprised a lot of people. And the reason we're talking about the spring selling season with Beth Traverso is, in my opinion, Seattle starts the spring selling season first. They typically start it right around January 15th to the end of January, where most people are still in the deep thaw of winter. So, Beth, welcome to 2026. The spring selling season is right around the corner. But first, remind us just how terrible last year was.
Last year was such a dud. We were getting warmed up. It was good for a brief minute, hot minute there. And then I think it was right around April 8th. I usually can't pinpoint it to a day, but that was the day, I think, or real close to the day when the
Trump tariffs
dropped. Yes. The Trump tariffs put everything into just a screeching halt. So we were rocking and rolling. People were just starting to roll out the big inventory, the amount of listings, because it takes a while for it to warm up. People are just starting in January to get their houses ready to list in the spring. And so we were getting all of that coming on. And then it hit a wall. Yeah. And the stock market plunged, and people use that money there's a couple aspects to it. Number one, a lot of folks are using that for down payment, or those that aren't even still, it's just their reserves, their funds, and they're seeing that going down, and it doesn't make people feel secure. Right. And if people don't feel secure, they don't make big decisions like buying an expensive house with a big payment, in my area, usually. So they don't want to proceed. And so, it shut off a lot earlier than it normally does. Kind of the insight I give my sellers a lot of the time is that we usually see it start to slow down or do a gradual shift start somewhere around Easter weekend and Mother's Day weekend, somewhere in there, because that's when you see it. Is like all of a sudden the open house activity dries up and everybody's like, wait, I didn't get offers on my new listing and nobody showed up to my open house. What? We hear that kind of every year around one of those weekends, but this just moved it up. And it happened a lot earlier than normal. So, because usually we are a little closer to a Mother's Day or so before that happens. So it was like a prime month was just eliminated.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting in 2026 for a couple of reasons. First off, you're absolutely right. I think the entire economy was sent into a shiver, negative wealth effect. A lot of unknowables were happening around Trump tariffs in April. But, in hindsight, it's going to make it for some really easy comparisons. This year, you should really be able to like jump over those numbers in street clothes. So, but before we get into what you're seeing as we get ready for 2026, Q4, I think, was a lot better than most people thought. A lot, so talk about how you ended the year.
Q4 was awesome. Numbers way up, sales way up. For me and just in general out there, I saw a lot of inventory going off the market, getting under contract. I will still say, like, those out there looking for the great deals, we're getting them still, but I know that we did have a surprisingly high number of sales, especially in December. I had a great December, even though I was out of town at least half the time.
Yeah, you were gone for 2 weeks and you still had a great December.
Still selling houses is great. There's a joke in real estate. Like if you need some business, just go out of town and immediately your phone will be blowing up and you'll be,
funny.
The work will come. But yeah, I saw that, and I've heard that from other brokers too, that the fourth quarter was abnormally strong. And so it'll be interesting. Now we're in the time where it's going to be interesting to see what's gearing up to happen.
Yeah,
in January.
2026 is going to be really interesting because the momentum is clearly better now, right? Q4 was strong. I think a lot of people are telling me that their Q4 numbers were the best they've seen in years, which kind of makes sense given just how bad spring was, right? But now we're getting into the spring selling season. And I think one big fair question, if you want to be a doomer, is how much of that delisting comes back? So what's a delisting, in case you don't know? There was a record number of people taking their houses off the market, which really probably helped sales in December because there were just less inventory options to choose from, less active inventory. So the question that I have is, how much of that inventory is going to come flying back now that the holidays are over? It might be a large percentage, and it might be not very large, because maybe some people decided simply not to move. Maybe they became accidental landlords and it's not a home they're going to sell. They're going to keep it and keep their 2% mortgage. So the first thing I'm asking myself is, what's going to happen to listings? Will listings pop 10, 15, 20, 40%? And then demand. I think demand is surprisingly strong because A, the tariff tantrums are over. B, stock market is at or near record highs. And then the last one is a subtle one. Interest rates are trending and really flatlining. There's no more like volatility. Yeah. They're like 6.2, 6.17, 6.919, right? It's just here. So people have confidence in interest rates now. So to me, 2026 spring selling season is going to be a tug of war between supply and demand. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, a couple thoughts about that. So for the delisted properties, another aspect of that is some of those may have sold off market too, because if you're a savvy buyer, you're going to comb through those and reach out to those people and try to snag it off market.
Great.
That might be a small percentage of those, but there are some, and I love that strategy. It's one of my favorites, but some of those are going to come back on, but then I think some others might have just been like, man, we're just going to hang tight here. The market's not giving us our high price that we want, but we will see a certain amount of those relists, especially if things do start to accelerate and they see, oh, our neighbor listed their house. Oh, and it sold right away. And maybe this is the right time. So we'll see some of that. The other thing that's interesting is there's kind of two segments to the inventory right now. There's the stale inventory that's been on the market 3 to 5 months or so. Like there's a bunch of those that are just hanging around, because we were seeing that where even good houses that seem like they're priced fairly are just kind of hanging around because buyers were just circling, thinking, not moving, or at least there was enough of them that were doing that. And then those are still some good opportunities that exist right now. And then those are the ones who didn't delist because they do need to sell. So they're just hanging out, waiting for the right buyer. And some of them are doing some good price drops too. And those are the ones you might be able to get credits on, et cetera. We're going to see, we're not seeing it yet here in Washington, but we're gonna start seeing the new inventory come on the next couple of weeks, and that's going to tell us a huge amount, because buyers they've been watching those stale listings for months. They're like, it doesn't even register for them anymore. Sometimes like, oh yeah, they just scroll right past those ones. And then a new one comes up, and especially if it's nicely presented and all, fixed up and staged and beautiful photography and priced fairly, like they're gonna jump on that one. And then if it gets competitive, because I've noticed last weekend there was a huge surge in open house activity. Now I know it's a hard metric to track because it's not hard numbers yet, but it's like people are back. Even though I thought, like, in our area, kids were still out of school and stuff. And it's like, is anyone going to show up to the open house? And all of a sudden, boom, a bunch of people came.
Wow.
So, and not just a one-off there. So the inventory is out there. And that's the stress between the supply and demand that always happens in our area in January. Is the buyers are ready now. The sellers are just starting to prep their homes after the holidays.
Exactly.
There's this tension there. A few good ones come on. More than one buyer jumps on, and then like, whoa, we lost that because we weren't competitive enough. And then it's like the switch flips where it goes from trying to, I know as buyers, we like to be able to get the disrespectful offers and the credits and all that, but then all of a sudden that evaporates. And then it's just about like, what do I got to do to get a house? And then they get more competitive where they're doing things that are more aggressive, like paying over waiving inspection.
Yeah, that is such a great, people don't really know, but that is exactly why the spring selling season is what it is demand comes on at like a stoplight, where supply comes back far more slowly, right? It takes time to get ready and declutter and pictures and
months for most people.
Yeah, months, exactly. But demand is instant.
Yeah.
And it is that kind of dichotomy that really drives the spring selling season, because it doesn't take too many losses to really frustrate a buyer, like, oh, we lost another one, for them to go, okay, I'm not losing this one.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is the spring selling season in a nutshell.
It's interesting how the dialogue changes in an instant. You know, it's like, and it is a psychological thing, and also just practical. Like if people really need to get a house and that's what they're seeing happening, and the straggler listings will start to, I've already seen those start to get under contract and move on down the road, and then they're not there anymore. And then it's just waiting for the new ones and preparing for battle.
Let's ask the $1 million question. What is your guess? Will this spring selling season be like the last one and just a dud? Or will it be like most spring selling seasons and lots of activity? What's your best guess?
Be better. You know, I think it's going to be definitely better than 2025, probably better than 2024.
Ooh,
you know,
there we go.
But
I like it.
Which is, you know, definitely on a gradual upswing. You know, we're not going to be anywhere near where we were in 2022, 2021.
That was not healthy. Let's not do that. Yeah, no.
And I'm not hoping for that, honestly, because that was pretty brutal and exhausting. But
it was gnarly. Yeah.
I think it's going to definitely be, numbers are going to be up, and I think it's going to be a more predictable, like, I don't think it's going to get probably cut short. Who knows? Some random thing could happen again this year, but not likely to happen twice in a row. The other interesting thing I want to know it's notable that I should mention is high-end listings. The buyers are back on the high-end listings.
Really? That's new. Okay. Because they disappeared for a while.
Talking about that for a while, where those, in my area, that's about 2 million and up. And they've been languishing for a long time with just nothing happening. Crickets. Doesn't matter how wonderful or how great it's priced. It's just price drop. Doesn't matter. And then now, all of a sudden, just in the past week, showings happening, phone calls being received, you know, multiple people coming through even at the same time and stuff. And it's like,
wow.
Where will that go? We shall see. But that was a segment that top third, I guess, of the market, I would say, has been suffering dramatically.
That'll be interesting for the country, because I've been talking about the bifurcation between luxury, which I consider to be 2x the median, right? If your median's $1 million, so that's 2 million above, and the low end, right, which is half the median. And there's really been a dichotomy for most cities and most areas for the country, and the luxury was hurting, slow. Days on market approaching 300 in some locations. Yep. It'll be interesting if that comes back.
Yeah. And again, it's early to say. Like, all I'm just seeing is increased activity, but it's notable and interesting, you know, because if there was nothing happening and now there's significant interest, at least, you know, so we'll see if those start to move through. But I know a lot of that market was curtailed by the stock market, and then also the layoff news happening, you know, and not that that's not a concern still, but they're back. That's all I got to say. So that's one thing, you know, it's never the same in real estate. It's what I like about it. You know, we're always adjusting and seeing what's coming around the corner next.
Yep. Beth, well, you are amazing. Not only do you help people buy or sell in King County, AK Seattle, but they can also reach out to you for referrals for other top agents across the country. How do they do that?
Yeah, they can find me on my website up here on the screen, thebethtraversogroup.com. And then you can Google my name too and find me in pretty much anywhere on the internet. And then I'm also in the school community too. So you can find me on there if you're in school.
Awesome. Beth, you're amazing. Take care. We look forward to getting December numbers next week.
Later.